Hi, I'm Sarah Joy reporting for XBAB, American Underground Church, and this is part 5 of the Peter and Suzy Theodoro kidnapping at Middlesex Hospital in Middleton, Connecticut. Many have suggested that the Theodoros should have reported this to various leaders, agencies, and organizations, but another family in almost the same exact circumstance, but in another state, did do exactly that. Holmes reported violations to all the proper authorities, and the returned verdict of all of them was they saw no problem, or they investigated themselves and cleared themselves. Holmes kept detailed and accurate records and recordings, filed and kept certified copies of everything, put things in the court record, and the judge annulled everything they had previously submitted to the fake court, and also issued a court order stating any further motion they might bring before the court would be automatically denied. Remember that when you think you have options. This is very unfair doctrine of predictive neglect in Connecticut has basically no standard of proof, and they only have to convince the judge that there is a 10% chance that the parents might neglect their children in the future, and that's all they need to terminate anyone's rights. You do realize that gets everybody. 10% gets everybody. No one could pass that. It's basically pre-crimes, unit mentality, fortune telling, predicting the future is fortune telling. That is what the courts take your children away with now. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, folks. This is the law of our land at the moment, not the Constitution, and I don't care what party is in office. They all have known about this for many years, both sides. Theodoros have virtually no chance of ever getting to see their baby girl ever again. Almost 7 months since little Sophia was violently ripped away from the Theodoros at the hospital, and parents cast out into the cold Connecticut winter snow. Their once joyful planning for their daughter's arrival has turned into nothing but misery and pain. It appears they won't get to live a happy, fulfilling life anymore because of the hatred of a people they didn't even know, at a hospital they never had been to, who never even tried to get to know them before condemning them and telling them that their life and their marriage together was an abomination under God just because they are of different races. This is the very definition of a hate crime. But guess what? The FBI won't take a report. No one will. Many have tried and have proof that they've tried. Again, this has been happening for over 20 years. One of the first things parents have done is contact the FBI. And the nation wants to blame Trump for everything. The swamp is deeper than you know. One man can't bail that much mud. It will take us all. Let me read from Suzy's words. Suzy states, "We got a 2-hour supervised visit in a tiny room in a little warehouse building in Middletown, Connecticut. While we were so exhausted, we could barely stay awake, much less able to enjoy spending time with our child. We did our very best to not show that we are tired because we knew they would write a derogatory things about us in their reports, but sometimes it was very hard. Then we had to turn around and come straight back, driving all through the night so my husband could make it in time for work the next morning, on literally no sleep whatsoever. We are being deprived of the most basic civil and human rights in every way, shape, and form. All the Connecticut DCF ever does is try to hurt us, pawn us against each other, and split us up because they say our marriage is an abomination. They have never tried to help us or listen to our side of the story in any way, the hospital staff told them that they were criminals, that we were criminals, running from the law. And instead of doing any investigating whatsoever, they just took that opportunity to seize our child. Just like the Senator Matt Lesser, who, without doing any investigation whatsoever, started telling everyone in Connecticut that our story was just a scam to defraud the internet for money. It is really sad that they have such hatred for anyone not like them. That upon minutes after seeing us at Middleton Hospital, they start calling us criminals and Muslim terrorists simply due to the color of my husband's skin. My marriage to my husband is not an abomination. Just because we are different races, we just loved each other, so we got married and we've made a life together. We should have the right to live our lives as we so choose, and we don't need anyone's permission. All we ever wanted to do was to grow old and raise our children and live a happy, peaceful life with our family. And we both worked very hard in school to having nice careers so that we could give our children all the things we've never had. We strongly believe that God loves us all equally, and our life together is a beautiful thing. At least it was before the staff at Middlesex Hospital started attacking us and illegally cut my daughter right out of my body to kidnap her. We just wanted our child back. We love her more than anything and miss her so much. We never did anything to hurt anyone, and what the staff did to us at that terrible hospital was nothing less than a crime. Sophia has rights. She has the right to be placed with her family members, but the DCF in Connecticut are denying her legal rights. This is fraud on the court for which there is no statute of limitations. It is a federal crime. At the moment, Connecticut doesn't have jurisdiction because they are not residents there. But if the state hangs on to the baby for 6 months, they can declare her a resident. Tricky, right? Sleight of hand magic tricks. Courts are corrupt. Courts play games with words. Attorneys play games and then take your money. You still lose. You lose your children, your possessions, your freedom, and your money. Suzy states her father once told her, bravery is not about never being afraid. It's about standing up for what you believe in spite of your fears. It's about taking that fear and wielding it into a power to fight and rise above those who would persecute you because they believe they are better. I would like to add something to her father's great words. We have many young people throughout this nation aspiring to great things. Some hope for more than others, but regardless, none of them need to have to deal with the fear of the normal act of going to a hospital to deliver a child without being afraid it will be taken away. Neither should have they to be concerned about going to a hospital to receive care for their children without the same fear that the state will then grab those little ones who mean the most to them. And any court refuses to recognize our constitutional rights, and for any reason they should choose to do this, then we cannot live in peace and security. It is our Constitution that defines who we are as Americans. Individual liberties and protection of those rights is something we have to depend on to live in freedom. When they are stealing newborns and children from Christians, they will soon be coming for the rest. A lot of souls gave their lives so that we might yet have this Constitution. It's not a perfect government that will never exist on earth, but it says we have certain unalienable rights that mean They are God's given rights. Government doesn't give those rights. We, the governed, must live our lives in defense of them. Liberty undefended always disappears.